Hello everyone and welcome back to Town of Salem 2. In this video we are going to play a very chaotic tracker game. Hope you enjoy! So we are number 11 on the list, which is good because I won't get a Tech Knight 1. 4 says Town Power here, Town Protect look out on me. 10 says Report 12. 4 says Real this time. 9 says 4, I don't trust you. 3 says why 10? 4 says I promise you, I'm a real Town Power. 12 says I'm Ina, don't report me. No. I'm reporting you. Okay, let's go on 3. And see where they go. Or maybe, well, let's go on 5. Tracker Night 1, 5, visited. And they didn't visit anyone. Good to know. Rest in peace to 13. They were killed by the coven and they were a retributionist. Then, that's a lot of info. 3 says 10 Ino book. The CS says 9 and 12 are enemies. 4 says 5 high. 13 they would love reviving the nobody else in the graveyard. 12 claims TK. 9 says get 12. Oh my god, so mature of you 12. Okay, I should write down the claims. 10 claims TS. 15 claims Sia. 10 says 2 alignment. 5 says you should. Oh my gosh. 12 says 9 you didn't even claim. 4 says 9 claim TP. Why are we voting 10? And 10 reveal themselves as the mayor. 9 says valid. Why is the mayor up? Is it majority evil already? What's going on? What? They revealed. 10 says oh. Still mayor. Sadly. I say, why was the mayor voted up? Shouldn't we solve the CA 1 for 1? 1 says, yes, mayor is indoctrinated. 5 says, 10 isn't meeting an untimely end. I reject my day 1 speech. 4 says, we are not hanging our mayor, guys. At least this got in-out. Why was this voted up in the first place, though, after the reveal? Let's get 9. Okay, 1 claims TP. 2 claims TS. 3 claims Sheriff. 4 claims Town Power. 12 says, it's 1 for 1 between me and you, and I got no CCs. 2 says, TP versus TK. 9 says, I full claim to 7. To 10. I like how Mayor is asking everyone to claim. They are doing their job as a leader. 3 says, why? 7 says, it's a 1 for 1. 10 says, this claimed BJ, and this was Baker. Nice. 15 says, there we go. 3 says, I'm so cooked. Okay, let's confirm 15 so that they become a confirmed seer. I'm probably dead here. Am I? This town feels so evil. Twelve claims TK. And I'm dead. Rest in peace to 3, the soul collector. They were shot by a vigilante. That was a very early shot. That's very dangerous. I don't shoot Night 2 as a vigilante. Three says, shot by Vigi, got illusioned. Do you mean enchanted? And there is a Doomsayer already. Nice job, Doom. Fourteen says, how did I get doomed? Well, what a lucky guess. 15 says, 6 and 3 are friends. 5 says, 3 was enchanted. 12 says, how did Doom... And there is a conjurer, and they are getting Dr. Trivago. Rest in peace to 1, they were an arsonist. 4 says, hello 1. 1 says, well, that just sucks. 14 says, big nuke. 5 says, because I shot 3, and it says I lost my gun for shooting a town member. 1. 7 says, wait, how does this doomsday work? I thought the doomed people just auto-die at night. 4 says, I think most players would call it scum reading, but I just looked at 8 and 14's logs and guessed based on that. 8 didn't say anything at all, day 2. 5 says, so 3 was enchanted but not attacked by enchanter. 1 says, most coven don't seem to try. 4 says, and 14 never voted guilty and only said, do we 1 for 1 or... So my guesses were based on that. I say true, that was evil of them. Nice job, 4. 4 says, thank you, 11. 14 says, sorry 7, I didn't mean to vote you. 4 says, I was so upset when 10 revealed as mayor because I was gonna claim mayor lol. 1 says, a lot of evils ask random questions or say random things that are obvious. I say this. Okay, so what was 7? Seven says, this was coven push though. 1 says, I myself said 1 for 1 for 1. 2 says, so 6 is confirmed town? And this was a real soul collector. 4 says, sometimes evils will just not say anything at all, but that can be the case for any faction. 10 says, double SC game. 5 says, 3 was enchanted, like I said. 4 says, double SC game. This May is hilarious. Shame I killed them. 1 says, how did Enchanter get the read? 7 says, dude, I did not know how new Doom works. I thought they auto-die. I emailed the baker. I say, nope, you die later on. 4 says, they don't auto-die anymore. They die the night after. So 10, 8 and 14 are all dying tonight. 10 says, whoa. 4 says, Exhibit A, they're all dead now. 14 says, bruh, my coven killing killed 10. Idiot. 10 says, coven still murdered me. That's mean. I say, that is mean for sure. Rest in peace to 8, the necromancer. Rest in peace to 10, the mayor. 10 says, coven really doesn't like me. And they say that hang this about 14. 4 says, coven wasting a night for no reason. 14 says, he left. Okay, so 2 had the book. Good to know. 4 says, 14 and 8. It was honestly wasn't that difficult to guess the both of you as coven. 14 says, I was just silent. 4 says, and 14 never voted guilty and only said, do we 1 for 1? Or 1 says, last coven deceit. Well, maybe not the last coven, but the one with the book. Because it's quite common that there are 4 coven. And there is a second doom? I say, another one. 5 says, that's what I mean. Second doom. 12 says, 2 dooms. 4 says, hello? 14 says, why wasn't I doomed again, lol? 15 says, well. 5 says, can we hang 6? 15 says, no. 15 says, 6 is down. 6 says, yeah. 6 says, we win. 5 says, we should hang 2 then. Why would you hang 2? They left. What are you doing? Oh my gosh. Is the town snatching the defeat from the jaws of victory? What are they doing? Why? Fifteen says, just for you, 5. 6 says, town deserves to win. 12 says, 4, how did you guess night 1? I say, based on the chat logs. 5 says, if the game doesn't end, we know one of you is in town, and hope the other can kill them all. 15 says, it's not me. 4 says, well, I guess night 2, not night 1, but yeah, based on chat logs. 12 says, what do you mean chat logs? You only know Mayor confirmed. And 2 was Enchanter. 4 says, it's exactly what it says it is, I guess. 10 says, 12, you look who's quiet and who's talking. 4 says, I don't know what 8 and 14 are, Coven. I'm simply guessing that they are. 10 says, and statistically Coven has the highest chance of being doomed. 4 says, and if they are not, then I move on and see if anyone else gets confirmed the next day. 1 says, Coven is more common than NK. 10 says, true. No serial killer, value of deaths. No, not the vigilante. Rest in peace to 5 the VG, and they weren't even able to shoot anyone. No. One says Coven really aren't bright. 4 says, why does Coven keep killing the doomed? 7 says, is Coven mentally ill? 12 says, 2 nights in a row. 8 says, nope. 15 says, 6. dot dot dot. 6 says, yeah. Why Ouija didn't shoot me? Because they weren't able to? 6 says, normally I wanted to die like this. 1 says, Ouija shot Townie. 5 says, 3 was not evil, so I lost gun. And that's why you don't shoot night 2. 5 says, that's how I knew they were enchanted. And now the town loses because they decided to hang the disconnected coven. But to be fair, there were a lot of evils. 4 says, hi 15. 15 says, hi 4. I say, rip 15. 6 wasn't confirmed town. Because 3 got enchanted, and when you enchant someone, they appear the same faction as coven. 15 says, we should have just hanged 6 when we had the chance. I say, GG's, what a wild game, lol. Here are all the roles that we've had in this game. Thank you so much for watching this video. Here are the ones that might interest you as well, and see you soon in the next one.